Hello guys, welcome to our first episode on Black Suit Tale, where we'll talk about fictional stories. Today we'll be talking about the mafia boss who married the humiliated woman. Everyone in Bella Vita remember the day Elena Rossi was humiliated, though most pretended they didn't. It happened at an engagement party of her stepsister Sophia, an event dripping with champagne, silk gowns, and polished smiles. Elena had worn a simple blue dress she'd sewn herself, hoping to blend into the whirls. Instead, she became the spectacle. Her stepmother's voice had cut through the music like a blade. "Elena, dear, do you really think you belong here?" Laughter followed. Glasses paused mid-air. Someone whispered. Someone filmed. They accused her of theft, an heirloom bracelet that later turned up in Sophia's purse, but by then the damage was done. Elena stood frozen under the chandelier as security escorted her out, heels clicking like a countdown to disgrace. No one defended her. Outside, the city lights blurred through her tears. Bella Vita, a city that worshipped power, had decided she was nothing. What Elena didn't know was that from the balcony across the street, a man had been watching. His name was Dante Moretti, and the city feared him. Dante Moretti was not a myth, though people spoke of him in whispers. He was the unseen hand behind Bella Vita's calm and chaos, the mafia boss who ended wars before they began, who paid debts in silence and collected them in fear. At 38, Dante ruled with restraint, not rage. He wore tailored suits, spoke softly, and never raised his voice. That made him far more dangerous. He had not planned to attend the party across the street. Social gatherings bored him. But when his lieutenants mentioned the Rossi's family's connection to a minor shipping deal, Dante had a glanced over out of mild interest. That was when he saw Elena. He saw the way she stood apart, the way her smile was practiced, not joyful, and then the cruelty. Public, calculated. Dante watched as she was thrown out like an inconvenience. Something tightened in his chest. "Find out who she is," he said. Within an hour, he knew everything. Elena Rossi, 26, orphaned, young, worked 2 jobs, no criminal record, no allies, and utterly humiliated. Dante leaned back in his chair, eyes dark. Bella Vita had made a mistake. 3 days later, Elena was scrubbing tables at the cafe where she worked nights when a black car stopped outside. Men in suits entered, not ordering coffee, just standing, commanding the room without a word. Her manager went pale. "Miss Rossi," one of them said politely, "our employer would like to speak with you." Elena's hands trembled. She thought of debt collectors, of revenge for her stepfamily, of worse, she almost ran. Instead, she nodded. The car smelled of leather and quiet power. When she was led into the penthouse office overlooking the city, her breath caught. Dante Moretti stood by the window. He turned, and the world seemed to be still. "I know what they did to you," he said calmly. Elena swallowed. "If this is about the bracelet, it's not," Dante interrupted. "Sit," she did. "I'm going to ask you something," he continued. "You can refuse, but hear me first." Elena nodded again, heart pounding. "I need a wife." Silence crashed between them. "A public one," Dante added. "In name and presence, not ownership, not a cage." Elena stared at him, stunned. "Why me?" she whispered. "Because you have nothing to gain from lying," Dante said, "and everything to gain from surviving." He slid a folder across the desk: protection, financial security, independence, and revenge, not through cruelty, but through dignity. Elena laughed softly, brokenly. "You don't know me." Dante met her gaze. "I know what it means to be powerless, and I know Bella Vita respects only strength." He paused. "Marry me, and no one will ever humiliate you again." The announcement spread like wildfire. Dante Moretti was marrying Elena Rossi, the same Elena, the woman once escorted out in shame. Bella Vita reeled. Her step-family watched the news in disbelief as Elena appeared beside Dante, elegant and composed, her head held high. Sophia dropped her glass. The wedding was private, but the message was public. Elena moved into Dante's world cautiously. The mansion was quiet, almost lonely. Dante kept his distance, honoring his word. They ate dinner together, spoke of books, of music, of scars they didn't show. Slowly, Elena realized something terrifying. Dante wasn't cruel, he was only lonely, and he listened. Weeks turned into months. Elena learned the rules of Dante's world, and Dante learned hers. She challenged him, questioned decisions, reminded him of consequences beyond power. "You don't have to be feared to be respected," she said once. Dante studied her like a revelation. No one had spoken to him that way in years. Threats came. Rivals tested her as his weakness. Dante shut them down mercilessly. But Elena stood her ground. "I won't be hidden," she told him. "If I'm your wife, I won't live in fear." Dante nodded. "Then neither will you." Elena's step-family sought an audience. They arrived trembling. Apologies rehearsed. Dante allowed it. Elena stood tall as they begged for forgiveness. She said only one thing: "I forgive you," and then she walked away. That was her victory. One night, months later, Dante found Elena on the balcony, looking over the same city that once turned her back on her. "You could leave," he said quietly. "You are free." Elena smiled. "So could you?" she replied. He took her hand, not as a boss, not as a savior, but as a man. This time, the choice was mutual. Bella Vita changed, slowly, reluctantly. The mafia boss who married the humiliated woman ruled differently now. And the woman, once discarded, became a symbol of quiet strength, not because she was saved, but because she stood up back. And this time, the city bowed. Thank you for watching, and do not forget to always like, comment, share, and subscribe for more stories like this.